let's look at the teams for you. Manchester United start their Premiership campaign with this side. Phil Neville fills in for Dennis Irwin, whose desire for a competitive testimonial match rather backfired on him. Roy Keane is fit. Extra importance on that with Nicky Butt suspended. The two strikers, Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole. Dwight York, who's been away to Trinidad since the Charity Shield, is amongst those on the bench. Bobby Robson adopting a strategy which served him well in some awkward away games last season, with three centre-backs, Dabizas, Marcelino and Goma. Rob Lee and Gary Speed, vital components at the heart of the midfield. And two new signings, Carl Court from Wimbledon and Daniel Cordone from Racing in Argentina. Will they support Alan Shearer?
Well, there certainly wouldn't be any surprises as far as Bobby Robson's concerned with the system that Manchester United were going to adopt. Martin's pretty much as it is. Interesting to see the two that I think are the strongest pairing that Alex can play at centre-back. I think they complement each other. The year they won the Championship and the Champions League, Stam and Johnson were at the heart of that. They're back together again, they're playing again. It'll be important that they play well today. But ahead of that, where do you start to talk about the quality around this team? They are a threat from absolutely everywhere. From the right, Beckham with his delivery. But not only that, more and more David Beckham is coming infield and getting involved. That may be a factor. Keane and Scholes, a threat centrally, and what a competitive duo there. Ryan Giggs, obviously down the left-hand side, a threat. What's going to be interesting today, Sheringham and Cole, the choice for Sir Alex today. I'm a little surprised, I have to say, Martin, but Teddy Sheringham's performance against Manchester City got him the nod. It'll be interesting to see how Newcastle cope with it, because when we take a look at the formation that Bobby has set out, I think he's gone with Goma, Marcelino and Dabizas. He's known about this fixture for some time. They've planned how they're going to stop Manchester United, and as a manager coming here opening day, he will not want to be out the game before he's in it. So expect maybe Hughes and Barton to be a little bit reserved in the way that they play early on. Keep a 5 there, don't give anything away in the opening 10 or 15 minutes. But it's in here where there's a huge onus on Speed and Lee, because if Sheringham drops off, if Beckham tucks in field, there is a chance that Speed and Lee might get overrun, and they might find an awful lot of bodies in there that they're having to deal with. So therefore, maybe Court and Cordone, the new boy, instead of just supporting Shearer all the time, they might actually have a little bit of work to do. Maybe just filling in at the back and leaving Alan Shearer, who's, I still think, short of fitness with the problems that he's had, to play there on his own. And if he does, what they're going to have to do is play off him. By that, I mean, I don't think we'll see Alan spin too many times down the channel. It'll be a case of hit the ball at Alan. He's great at protecting it and then get people to run off him.
Well, it's been a far from peaceful countdown to the start of the Premiership for both clubs. Roy Keane's red card for the Reds at Wembley, a stormy side to Wednesday's testimonial match, which saw Dennis Irwin injured on his big night, and Bobby Robson embroiled in the Duncan Ferguson saga. Has had him and the club a little distracted over the past few days. But Duncan Ferguson has gone. Newcastle are here at Old Trafford as the last team to beat Manchester United in the Premiership, the last team to stop United scoring in the Premiership, and the last team to stop them scoring here in the Premiership. But they haven't beaten Manchester United on this ground for 28 years, and only once in the last 50 years. So it's
so having given them hope, you've just taken it away from them again.
A balancing act. But it's a tough start, of that there can be no doubt. And Bobby Robson really setting out his stall accordingly. Andy Cole, always a special feature in this fixture, which he's played so well for both clubs. Sheringham looking for Cole. There's a notable interception there by Gary Speed. Very important for Newcastle that they bed into this game early.
Yeah, they've set out the stall, Mark, exactly as we thought they might.
But that's a massive ball from Bartes, and in fact so massive that it looked for a second it might bounce over at Shea Given.
Not only was it a great ball, what vision from a goalkeeper. I mean, David Beckham started that diagonal run, 30, 40 yards away from where the ball landed. If he picked him out, then what a ball.
Despite the sun being in his eyes. Stephen Lodge is the referee. Has given Manchester United a free kick. Coming from Beckham.
Pretty good tempo. Honestly, I know it's opening with 90 seconds, but United have started very quickly.
Headed out by Speed. A touch from Scholes, who's been saying that he wants to stay with Manchester United for his entire career, which will be music to the ears of the United fans. Cole. He was very bright in the Dennis Irwin game here on Wednesday and scored a good goal near the end. Stam missed that match. He was at a Dutch training camp in the middle of last week. Gary Neville. Cole. Philip Neville. Newcastle backpedaling. Giggs. Didn't quite shift it to get into a shooting position. Trying to buy his new club a bit of time here with some nifty footwork. Good play.
There's an area where I think Manchester United will try and exploit. That's wide on either side. As Carl Court and Daniel Cardone are not alive, Martin, and I think the Neville brothers can get absolutely acres because Giggs and Beckham will run Hughes and Warren Barton as deep as they like, and that does mean that Phil Neville and Gary Neville, if they want it, and if the two support players to Shearer switch off or don't get back in, well, they can have the ball as often as they want in good areas and in plenty of space to work it.
I think part of the planning from Bobby Robson was to get Cardone and Court to work against the Neville brothers, as Cordone's trying to do here against Gary Neville. That's why Shearer is something of a lone striker in the formation that we put up for you. Cardone goes down. He's on a year's loan initially. Doesn't speak much English. Asking me last night at the team hotel where the channel of football was on to let his new friends in England watch the game today. Fabizas. Barton's pass, and it's a good one for Shearer. Good blocking by Stam. Otherwise, there might have been an early scare for Barthez on his Premiership debut. And the goalkeeper's got to clutch it here from Cardone. Uses it quickly, Fabian Barthez to Beckham.
Well, I know it was a shot at from Cardone, but it ended up not being the worst ball that I've ever seen across the face of a goal. Only trouble for Newcastle, 3 black and white shirts in there. You really could have thrown a hanky over the 3 of them. No one really made a move towards the near post, but he might have just ended up with a little tap in.
Johnson. Barthez signed not just for his ability, but for his personality, you feel, as well. The 6th goalkeeper Manchester United have used since the departure of Peter Schmeichel. And that was only just over a year ago. Barton, now the Newcastle vice-captain, to Shearer. Speed's made an encouraging run, and it could drop for Cardone here. It does. Just hesitated for a moment, and maybe in that extra second the real chance was lost.
Well, we don't know an awful lot about him, but I'll tell you what, 5 minutes in, I can tell you, if you get a chance, push him on to his right foot. He could have hit that, you see that, but he was so concerned and so intent in taking it onto his stronger side that he gave United a chance to close him out. Thought the chance was there to hit it right foot. He refused it.
Sheringham looks for Cole. Just a suspicion the ball was going to sit up for a shot.
It did. I mean, again, I remember I remarked it at Charity Shield, Mark, 2 or 3 times when Teddy looked for a pass, edge of the box, when he might well have steadied and hit. I thought there again, it dropped for him. Maybe one touch and hit. He was only 22, 23 metres out.
Shearer. Knocked up by Stam. Precision in the kicking from Barthez is in evidence again. Cole. Giggs. He's got past Fabizas and past Barton. He's running out of room. Well, lucky Marcelino.
What on earth? I mean, surely Shea Gibbons screaming at the top of his voice in whatever language that ball should have been his. But I tell you what, I thought that maybe Newcastle would come early on, Martin, sit back, protect it, not be out the game. We've had a pretty open 6.5 minutes of this football match.
Of the three at the back for them, of course, Davies was a thread through their side constantly last season. The other two hardly played, Marcelino and Goma, through injuries. Scholes, showing him just drifting away. But Scholes has spotted Giggs. He in turn, Philip Neville. And Scholes has joined Cole in the centre.
That's what I mean, 2v1 on the left-hand side because Cardoni hadn't tracked back, couldn't get back. And I think that's what Newcastle have got to be careful about. Otherwise, Warren Barton and Aaron Hughes are going to be faced with 2v1 time and time again. And Manchester United will get to deliver it almost free in the way Phil Neville did then. But maybe Bobby set out his stall to say, well, go on then. You can cross it in. I've got three big lads strung across our 6-yard box, and they should all win their fair share of headers.
Shearer closing down Philip Neville. Well, we've got the two top scorers since the start of the Premiership in this match today. Alan Shearer with 176, Andy Cole second, and well behind 123. That tells you a great deal about what Alan Shearer has achieved. Remember, since the start of the Premiership also, he's had at least 2 career-threatening injuries.
He scored more league goals last year than Cole, scored more league goals than York. In total, scored more than the Man United duo. Says an awful lot about what he did last year and how many goals he scored.
Incidentally, he needs 1 more goal in the league to reach 200. He started with a hat-trick against Arsenal for Southampton as a teenager. Manchester United want to top the table tonight. They've got to go better than Charlton yesterday against Manchester City. 4 goals plus in the goal difference column.
They did pick 5 past Newcastle, didn't they?
Yeah, 5-1 would actually do it, wouldn't it, in the replica of last season's result? But they're very different circumstances. Newcastle were not a stable football club then.
10 men, played a lot of the game with 10 men.
Davies sent off. And Andy Cole really cashing in against his old club. Despite all the changes Bobby Robson has made, 7 of today's team started in that 5-1 defeat, and there are a couple more on the bench from Dyer and Solano. Sheringham did score in the Dennis Irwin testimonial match, a sweet left footer. Maybe that helped Alec Ferguson make up his mind about which strikers would start today. Stam. Gary Neville into the feet of Sheringham where he likes it, and Harry Keane trying to support the striker then. Giggs. This much maligned Old Trafford pitch looking in very good condition. Setting with the sunshine, absolutely splendid in a stadium that now holds 68,000. The records already broken today. Giggs. Told by Sir Alec Ferguson he should score more goals.
Lovely spot. Andy Cole just pulled away with a lot of possession. It might be a game like that for Manchester United. Newcastle are packing the centre of the field, in defence and in midfield, those areas making lots of numbers, making it difficult for Manchester United to thread it through. Beckham almost picked out Cole.
Keane. take it on. Gomar did his job. Alan Gomar had Achilles problems last season. So I don't think Bobby Robson is absolutely sure of his capabilities. It's a chance for him to show that he's got a part to play in the new Newcastle United. Which includes certainly the £7 million youngster Carl Court, who by the occasion in his time with Wimbledon. Confident young man. Lee. Much amongst the senior citizens. Barton's cross. There's Hughes going in. This is Shearer. Aaron Hughes coming from the left-hand side. And nearly catching out Manchester United. Dabizas. He's still forward. Behind him, though, is the holder of the Nevilles.
I have to say, Mark, they might well not enjoy great possession, Newcastle. They might be overpowered in that department, but when they do get it, they're certainly not afraid to throw a black and white shirt forward. 4 or 5 players in the box when that cross came in. A pretty positive sign.
Shearer's. Referee Lodge indicating that Manchester United had the ball. No need for him to stop the play. Just wonder how it will be for Alan Shearer. A total concentration now on club matters. 30 England goals behind him, and now 30 years of his life behind him, a week on from his birthday. Get away from Johnson. It's a throw for Newcastle.
Well, I can only relate to an old pal of mine, Gary McAllister, who made that same decision about 12 months ago, Mark, 15 months ago, and had his best season for a long time in a Coventry shirt last year, free of the pressures of international football. Newcastle fans are hoping, well, if Shearer can go on and have a better year than he had last year, they'll be absolutely delighted.
Giggs. Cole showing him hope that there was someone wide of him. Not quite that far forward. Court. Shearer just loitering here behind Philip Neville. And the play switched to him. Court dashing into the centre. Gary Speed looking to get there as well. Shearer goes on. And Rob Lee really trying to steer it. Newcastle play, and they do break. Cole, it's a super turn against Dabizas.
Well, angle against him, left foot not his strongest, but Dabizas makes a poor decision for a centre-back. There's no way for me he can go and attempt to win this. He's never getting there. I think that's a poor decision. He just needs to stand his ground and make life difficult. He didn't, and I think the only thing that saves Newcastle is lack of support. No one attacking the box, really. He'd left them all behind Cole.
Speed and Rob Lee really trying to provide the platform in there in front of the back three. Allows the wing-backs to get forward. We've seen a run from Hughes. Here's Warren Barton. It's given back to him rather weakly by Johnson. Cordone. Speed. A splendid season. Difficult circumstances for Newcastle in the last campaign. 13 goals included. Now for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404, the facility of the player camp. And now concentrate on Paul Scholes for the next 15 minutes. Much has been made side, Andy, in the build-up to the Premiership with this new ball that's supposed to be what they call, the pros are calling a faster ball. If you hit it, it really stays hit. Maybe Stam will have a crack here.
Gordon's track record was saying manufactured in space and should have stayed there. He's not hammered with it.
This particular model is Cordone. Court's offside.
Well, I just wonder if Carl Court had to go, Martin. He was looking right along the line. Every Manchester United defender was in front of him. And that, I mean, you look at Court's position, the back four is right there. He knows where they are. And as Phil Neville just puts the brakes on, is he off? Oh, it's very close. But I just thought he could have even held more. Just hold a yard. You can see everything. Very close.
Stam. Again in a position to look along the line was Gary Neville. Kevin Hawkes put the flag up against him. Able to relax and enjoy it here after a successful result yesterday. Peter Reid and Adrian Heath from Sunderland. And I don't think they were fooled by maybe the overall performance that Arsenal were the better side on the day. Sunderland got the points.
I had an hour with both of them there before the match, Martin. And that's exactly what they said. They were full of praise for Arsene Wenger's team. They thought they were absolutely fantastic.
Result for Manchester United, who would number Arsenal as certainly amongst the senior rivals for the crown that they're starting their defence of here. Lee. It's another ball from Barthez. That's very encouraging for those up front for Manchester United. Here's Cole. Corner.
They're just going to sleep every now and again at the back, Newcastle. Again, Goma should never be caught. You've got 3v2 at the back. Three centre-backs should be spread across the field in such a way that that should not happen. And that's, again, an error from the defender, but they get back and they get away with it.
Goma, a Frenchman who should know about Barthez's kicking. Coming from around the penalty spot, showing him on the move just across his line of vision. Beckham, of course, to take the corner. Stam, good stop. Shay Given.
Great football all round. Great delivery. Magnificent header and a superb save. He's under pressure, Stam, but look at the power he gets in that header. And it needed dealing with. And dealing with it was. Tell you, either side of Shay Given. He might have just been celebrating a goal, Stam.
Given is set again. Stam set again. Oh, this time it's Ronnie Johnson. No reprieve for Newcastle.
How must he feel, the goalkeeper? He makes a great save. Stops the header going in. And then, having got away with that, you should be tight. You should be talking to your players. You should be saying, be tight, be tight. And what are they? Anything but. Well, that's a free header. Keeper does his best, but it's just too good.
Well, he's been through a lot of pain over the last year or so, but real pleasure here for Ronnie Johnson, able to start the season fit again and flying in on the corner for Manchester United's first goal of the new Premiership campaign. Alex Ferguson telling me the decision who to play with the Stam was made a bit easier because Silvestre, who was fit again after his injury in the Charity Shield, actually got hurt in training.
Well, these are the best two for me. I have to say, I think when they're fit, they've got games under the belt, you put Stam and Johnson together, I think that's the best combination.
Well, you're, of course, talking defensively. It was a combination in an attacking sense that unhinged Newcastle. Stam's header led to the corner, which led to 1-0 Manchester United. Ronnie Johnson.
That's incredible. Just the Champions League Cup final, Mark. That was the last time those two started a real competitive game together for Manchester United. That's what United missed last season in many respects. They're back in tandem again. And Alex will be hoping that both stay free of injury.
Sheringham. He's having to play facing his own goal, and the ball ran Manchester United's way in the end.
Still think Bobby will be furious, Martin. I mean, it's just sloppy. It's switching off. It's really unprofessional at times to, having gotten away with it, to be not allowing people a free header next corner. They allowed that and they paid the full price.
Giggs having to chase a ball that was aimed at Roy Keane. And keeping pace with it was referee Lodge as well. To have a good view of the incident at point for the goal kick, as Giggs was appealing for a corner. Well, as you said, Andy, he's put an awful lot of thought into preparing the team for this particular challenge. I suppose that's the bonus on the first day of the season. Norm by any means. The match is coming thick and fast. Manchester United play again on Tuesday at Ipswich. Newcastle on Wednesday, when they can show off the developments at their stadium against Derby County. A famous face amongst this huge crowd here, Eusebio, has come to present some awards, which you'll hear about later. It only takes.
Strange delivery, a little flat, a little low, but Gary Speed, renowned for climbing, having great aerial ability, managed to get a little touch on it, but far too far out to trouble Fabian Barthez. But they're away again, right-hand side.
Beckham. The Sheringham's unmarked in the middle. That's because Dabizas at the moment is standing at left back. He'd gone up for the corner. Barton's had to come across, try and plug that gap. Sheringham actually just checking out for the edge of the area. Barton's in the right place. Had it gone through the middle quicker, Newcastle would have been in defensive disarray. It's past the halfway mark in the first half. It can no longer be just a holding operation for Newcastle.
They've actually been pretty poor for three big centre-backs, Martin. They've been pretty poor in dealing with anything Barthez has clubbed long. They've hardly won a header between them, the three centre-backs.
We talked about this faster ball. Maybe this is helping. I've seen, of course, Barthez, as you have, kick it long before he came to play in the Premiership, but it really is carrying. We talk about goalkeepers not liking it, but in the kicking sense, Barthez seems to be loving it. Beckham. Marcelino trying to force it away, didn't get very far. Scholes. Here's Giggs. Sheringham looking to pull in behind Barton. I think they both missed it.
Yeah, exactly. Just take it as it dropped, Teddy Sheringham. A little bit ragged, Newcastle at the moment. A little bit ragged.
3 and Holt was trying to do the same to Johnson, but men covering for Manchester United. Yesterday we mentioned Sunderland, a good day for the North East in general, with Middlesbrough winning at Coventry emphatically. Just apologising for dwelling there. Court did well to get to him. Free up for Newcastle again. And Gary Speed trying to support. Caught. Davies-Ass. Shearer challenging with Johnson. It drops Beckham's way. Killing with time to turn. And Marcelino this time deciding to come deep with Sheringham, but he fouled him. Beckham. Marcelino's header. Marcelino was in that very good Real Mallorca team that got to a European final a couple of years ago, along with Lauren, who's now joined Arsenal. Stand forward by Gomar, comfortable for Stam. Speed. They got the offside decision. For in harmony for Manchester United.
Yeah, good line.
Montes, the playmaker again. Sheringham.
That was it again, though, Martin. Yet again, another ball. You expect Aaron Hughes really to deal with that sort of thing. David Beckham out jumps him, wanted it more. Terry Sheringham ends up with a shot. But they're confident with this goalkeeper's distribution. Amazing the amount of runs that people from deep are making when Barthez is on the ball.
I shall look forward to your analysis on the Monday Night Football tomorrow. Johnson digs, slips away from Lee. Still running at Newcastle. It might run through for Cole. Given committed, he's back now. Sheringham is there, but he's not taken the opportunity.
Well, they won't get a better one today, I wouldn't imagine. He might, but I'll be very surprised. Andy Cole so sharp here. They get a little bit of luck with the ball through, but he's so quick, so alert. Andy Cole quickly spots Sheringham. I thought he could have taken a touch. I know it's easy from here. Touch to steady it. There's absolutely no one around him. But he's close. Not close enough. Great chance for Teddy.
I mean, you really sense at the moment that this is a major test for Newcastle's application and attitude, as well as their ability. Lee. Hughes has made a good run. He's got Cordona. If he wants to try and tee him up, he decides to try and spin into the shot himself. And that was a positive answer to the question. Hughes, who played for Northern Ireland on Wednesday, the Premiership manager's not best pleased up and down the country with the placing of an international date and the week leading up to the start of the big league here. And Newcastle didn't have that much time to work on this back three because Davies-Ass was with Greece. Solano is back and amongst the substitutes, the midfield player. He's been in South America playing for Peru.
And that's what we have to keep up to speed so often in the Premiership these days. You share so many games around the world, Martin, that players are away. Dwight York just back, isn't he? And playing in midweek. Well, that has to be taken into consideration now when Premiership managers at the very highest level anyway are picking teams.
Beckham takes. Knocked away by Court. Collected by Keane. Scholes. Showed a bit too much of it to Davies-Ass. A touch from Cordone, a touch from Shearer for Newcastle. He's very much looking for support from behind rather than with the confidence to go on with the ball at his feet. And on two occasions he's got into the penalty area running without the ball. Trouble Manchester United. And he's been supplied on the opposite flank. And here's Aaron Hughes again.
That's unforgivable for me. That is sloppy mentally. Time, no need to be caught offside. Absolutely no need. Just drift, there he goes, drift. The ball's been played in, he can come back now, he can get himself back on side. But no, it's only 2 yards we're talking. Really sloppy.
He is competitive in the air. Davies asked. That was a trademark header from him. Cordoni, who's impressed in the pre-season. Also signed another player from Argentina, Christian Bacedas, who sadly for Newcastle broke a foot on their pre-season tour of the United States and will be missing for another month or so. But Carl Court is fit, and he's the subject of our player count for Sky Digital Viewers, channel 404. Scholes, sharing it. Beckham infield. Around the corner ball from Giggs, trying to link up with Philip Neville. And strength as well as skill and speed from Giggs. Marcelino just got the climb. And goes Philip Neville. Lee was struggling to complete the clearance.
Took a chance, Rob Lee, dropping ball, back to play, edge of his own box. I thought he'd just put his foot through it, hook it over his shoulder. And he tried to pull it down in his chest, almost got caught.
You might notice Rob Lee's got the number 7 back that Ruud Gullit took away from him. He was 37 last season. That's that number.
He's getting close, isn't he?
I'll let you say that, he's a friend of mine. This is a senior citizen, shall we say. Still a fine player, playing on the ground where he once scored for England against South Africa here. On the clumsy side by Gary Speed.
Going nowhere either, Roy Keane. What it has done is it's going to give David Beckham another opportunity to deliver.
Variety from Manchester United. Keane.
Yeah, they're bright, aren't they, Manchester United, Martin? I have to say, I thought last week they never really started against Chelsea in the Charity Shield. Weren't alive, weren't with it, but today, right from the first couple of minutes, I mentioned it, they look bright, they look ready, they look as if they were at it. And that's the way they've played for half an hour.
Newcastle trying to push out. Giggs. The referee had a perfect view. Giggs looks at him. You can tell from the crowd reaction what Stephen Lodge's reaction was.
I tell you, that must have been close. That must have been close.
Stam. Johnson. Oh, clever from Keane. Past Shearer, of all people. Beckham, Cole. Manchester United not dwelling on the fact that they felt they should have had a penalty. Speed. Took up a good position against Philip Neville. Defender relieved that he was able to get a foot in. Giggs tries again. Cole. Scholes and Beckham rather taking the same position. Mistake by Goma to give the ball away. If you give it to Manchester United in this sort of mood, it's easy to get it back. Keane. For Scholes. Now what's Paul Scholes going to do here? He clips it across for Giggs! Against the post! Barton can bang it clear.
Well, he's got to work in his control, Ryan Giggs. Oh, that was wonderful.
At the moment, the champions sending out the message that they want to be the side to continue to set the standards in the FA Carling Premiership.
Yeah, Newcastle have just got to hang on in there. It's as simple as that. They are putting, they are up for it, and Giggs is so very unlucky. Marcelino here is miles behind everyone else. Plays everybody on side, but when that comes across, it's a magnificent volley. He's just a touch unlucky. He didn't kill it stone dead when it come back to him off the post.
Stam. And prior to Giggs hitting the post was his penalty claim as well.
Well, they went at them in the box again, Martin. He's just going to drop the shoulder and then off he goes wide. You see, I think that's a penalty. I mean, I know people will say, but for me, Ryan Giggs is skipping clear. The right leg comes over, it catches Ryan Giggs. Now, Giggs is trying to get over the tackle. He's not trying to win a penalty. He's trying to get the ball. I think there was contact made. And I think it wouldn't have surprised me had the referee, and many of them would have done, pointed to the spot there.
Davizas. Speed. Shearer caught by a characteristic Paul Scholes challenge. No sign of that changing in the new season.
You've just got to hang in, Newcastle. 1-0 in any type of game, no matter how much you're being dominated, if you can just hang on in there, defend, you surely will get a chance of your own. You feel if Manchester United get it to 2, certainly in first half, it's going to be a long, hot second half for Newcastle United.
And Barton battle resumed. That's up on hand from Lee. And that's a bit loose from Manchester United, but Keane still got there first. Beckham. Cole trying to turn Goma. Away by Marcelino. Shearer. 2 to the left, Newcastle. Gary Neville's got his arm up, almost Arsenal style, asking for offside. Shearer. But trying to get it to court, and the other player who might have attracted his eye there was Aaron Hughes again. Beckham. And legs of Marcelino doing the trick with the tackling. Speed. Cordone. Speed. And in a way, Manchester United rather sat off Gary Speed then. Had it been on his left foot, I'm sure he would have thought about having a go at Bartez's goal. I mentioned Monday Night Football earlier. It's Arsenal against Liverpool. It's live Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports Extra. We start at 7. Richard and Andy in the studio, and then Trevor on the gantry.
Anyway, this early talking of the importance of that for Arsenal.
Well, of course, they've got a dreadful record, haven't they, against Liverpool in recent years. But they're smarting from what happened yesterday, I'm sure. Liverpool with the 3 points hard earned against Bradford. As manager Chris Hutchings was expected here today. Cordone. Certainly closed Newcastle down well in numbers, did Manchester United then. Cole squeezing it wide to Sheringham. Gary Neville just changing the pace. He didn't go off at full gallop, but he was there. And the pass was laid to him. High for Cole, and Barton's clearance a bit on the fortunate side. Staying strongly past Cordone, who was hesitating.
A simple message here was, I want this ball.
Early from Beckham. Giggs. And Sheringham again, who's got great control in his shooting. Not quite at his best.
It's awkward. The only thing I would say, kind of bobbled about for him. No messing with David Beckham. It arrived there, it was there to be crossed, and you see how it just sits up. Wasn't able to really get it on the half volley, I think, the way you would have liked. It was just on the way up. Didn't quite control it.
The pitch looked in very good order, so I think we might put that down to the goalkeeper. It did bounce up a little bit.
Right foot, anything to do with it?
Yeah, not quite as good as the left. So Newcastle have an unexpected throw-in well forward. Lee. Offside given.
Yeah, Warren Barton. Listen, I'm absolutely astounded how many Newcastle players, Martin, who are widest of all, looking across the line and getting caught offside.
I'm going to get the old tapes out to see how often you were caught offside.
Listen, I had no pace. I had to try and get as much of a start as I could.
The facts today. Quite well, Newcastle. There was a purple patch for Manchester United in which a second goal seemed almost a certainty. It didn't happen. And Sir Alec with a frown. Bobby Robson will be counting the minutes to half-time. John Carver alongside him with the headset. He'll be linking with another coach, possibly Mick Wadsworth, up in the stand. Too much stoppage time.
No, the game's slow, doesn't it? There haven't been, the referee's not had an awful lot to do.
Scholes. Encouraging Stan to come forward. He could have gone further forward, but he's rolled it into Cole. Keane with a rasper.
Well, the movement was just too much for Newcastle United. Andy Cole moving across the front, and the other players contributed, and they just opened him up. Look at Cole. He's gone. He's got away from Marcelino. What a strike this is from Roy Keane. They're talking inches here. Beautifully struck, beautifully controlled. What a save.
Well, I think the clue to that was Roy Keane complaining that the corner wasn't given. And the replay bore it all out. Should have given a terrific reach. That's being harried by Giggs.
Great that is. Honestly, Mark, people talk about ability and everything and skill, but when you see a player of Ryan Giggs' ability and experience, and yet you see him close down the goalkeeper, he gets chipped and he turns and he sprints 20 yards to put the defender under pressure. Well, that's the kind of thing that makes great players great.
Cut that one out, the clearance from Barthez, which was a positive moment for him, but then as it bounced away, he was committed to a late challenge that's led to a yellow card.
Yeah, just miscontrolled it. David Beckham just there, the leg gets hung out. You David Beckham, he pops up immediately saying don't book him, but Stephen Lodge had already made his mind up. Goma's name was going in the book.
Good contest. They had speed marking Keane. No one really close to Giggs straight away. Sheringham comes back to Giggs off Marcelino. Comes to Scholes! Parried by Given.
Well, at times they've struck them just too well. The header from Stam, the great header straight to the goalkeeper. This is another wonderful strike, but yet again it's straight at Shea Given.
So he could wrap his right foot around the ball, but that weight took it behind, and that's a corner. And bearing in mind that Newcastle conceded the one goal that we've seen so far from a corner from the Manchester United left.
You've got to be quick. There's only 1 minute, and almost at the end of that to deliver it.
That's the scorer Johnson who lets it run. Scholes, work by Lee. It's the final act of the first half, in which has been a good flow to Manchester United football. Their first 45 minutes in the Premiership this season. But the one goal coming from a dead ball situation, Ronnie Johnson heading in the corner. It could have been more, but at half-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 1, Newcastle United 0. Kieran Dyer is on for Newcastle in place of Goma for the second half. Suggests that the three at the back is going to be altered.
It's gone, Martin. Definitely going to go with a flat back four. Looks like Dyer's going to play in midfield. Rob Lee will obviously, I think, then be the holding player and allow Speed and Dyer if they want to go and join the three up front. So they're certainly taking a chance. But sometimes four can defend better than three centre-backs. They didn't defend very well as three centre-backs in the first half. They'll have to be a lot more focused now, and perhaps that'll help the other two who are left.
They've got to repair the damage of being a goal down if they can. Acknowledge that it could have been several more, but they're still in the hunt, Newcastle United. Dyer, with a number of Premiership players, has had an interrupted pre-season through injury. Speed, he's really whacked that. So the substitution and the subsequent shot from Gary Speed, an indication of more positive intentions from Bobby Robson's men in the second half.
It's the first real attempt in anger, isn't it, from Newcastle in the match.
Court, who's nearly as big as Curtly Ambrose. Player cam for the first 15 minutes of the second half will focus on Ryan Giggs for Sky Digital viewers, channel 404. Stand forward by Marcelino, Court chasing. Neville's back pass in the end, the loop arrived at Bartez's feet. It could have been a bit more awkward for the goalkeeper. Speed. Brian Lara's here as well, probably to catch up with the news with Dwight York, great pals. Sure, he would have hoped to have seen York in action, but that may come later.
That's a strange one, that decision. I'm not sure what the referee was giving there. Looked to be a good contest here. Both feet are up. Certainly can't be for anything that's happened after that. A bit of good fortune for Manchester United. It was a good break from Newcastle.
Cole from Sheringham's header. Dyer. He's certainly got the energy and the ability to influence the play as a substitute. Just missed out on selection for Euro 2000. One of those who was cut close to the deadline day.
It was like running with the ball and without it, Martin. He was full of energy.
Well, that's got a word on why he's been brought on from Claire Tomlinson.
Well, his substitution has been made for tactical reasons. There's no injury to Alan Goma. Kieran Dyer on, and his instructions are to push forward and support the strikers. So Newcastle obviously feel that they can still get something out of this game.
Thanks, Claire. Johnson. Who's now playing as an orthodox left back. Martin in the right-hand slot. And Sheringham and Cole get more joy against Abizas and Marcelino. Marcelino cuts out the cross. Might drop for Giggs, though it does. Just looping it back in, and two little inquests going on in there for Manchester United. It ended rather tamely. Giggs expecting movement that wasn't there. His teammates expected him to run with the ball at the defenders. Dyer. Teasing a pass between Giggs and Sheringham. Barton. Speed. Newcastle making a bit of progress.
Sloppy. Could have kept it coming this way. Aaron Hughes. Ball on there. Look for a real killer ball to Cordone.
I think it's fair to say that Cordone wasn't expecting it, Tom.
I think he's been expecting it to feet Mark, but I don't think he expected it that far in front of him.
Davies. A risky game, but he's got a free kick. Neither of these clubs won their opening game last season. Alan Shearer, of course, was sent off in his first game of the previous campaign to Aston Villa, a 1-0 defeat. Manchester United were leading at Everton till late on. And the Yapstam own goal cost them a couple of points. Matter too much when you win the championship by 18 at the end of the season. But let's just mindful of what can happen, as Andy mentioned earlier. 1-0.
Bobby at least has made a change. I mean, years of experience in the game, and I think he's understood at half-time that his team are very much second best. Change had to be made. It was a positive change as far as Newcastle are concerned. Yes, they might lose another goal, but the change that Bobby's made for Newcastle does give them, I think, a better chance of getting an equaliser.
Ronnie Johnson has become the 23rd scorer in the Premiership over this first weekend. Only 8 of those players English. Dyer, who certainly is English. Lee, likewise. And Barton. Nice touch by Dyer. Court trying to be on the same wavelength as the substitute. But he's caught in possession by Giggs, who's then obstructed by Lee.
Scrappy spell we've had in 7 minutes of this second half. Hasn't really flowed.
That's not the worst thing for Newcastle, is it?
No, it isn't. No, I think they would rather it was fragmented, the match, and Manchester United weren't allowed to build up any rhythm the way they did in the first half.
Sheringham. Johnson facing the play. Deal of options open for him, so he uses his speed to try and make something happen here, and well, the flag has gone up. I'm not sure the referee saw it straight away. He's pointed for a goal kick, but Ronnie Johnson knew that whatever happened after that wouldn't have counted, but it was a show of enterprise.
It's very close, this, because a little give and go, one touch and then played him in. Now he's not offside, you can see that. I knew it was close.
Johnson again. Ryan Giggs with 6 Premiership winners' medals. And still bags of appetite to make it number 7. Court. Sorted out by Johnson. A bit close order here for Manchester United. Spreading the play through the willing running of Cole. He's got Beckham galloping into space. Will Beckham hit it first time? He does! Comes out to Sheringham after a terrific stop by Given.
Oh, that's wonderful football. Great play by Andy Cole.
He caught out Newcastle with the quickness of Manchester United's corner routine here. They survive and look to break with Lee. Cordone, I must say, has been a bit of a peripheral figure as he tries to come to terms with the demands of the Premiership.
much has said it had been a little disjointed, fragmented second half, but suddenly Manchester United put a bit of pace and a bit of quality into a move, and again, not for the first time today, great save from Shea Given.
Dyer. Well, trying to stay on side. Dyer goes back to speed. Barton couldn't keep it in. Gives us a chance to pay tribute to the Republic of Ireland goalkeeper, Shea Given.
Well, this all starts with Cole's run. He's almost offside, Matt, but you see the way he checks back. He keeps himself onside. Then it's all about his pace. Sheringham runs players away. Beckham comes. It's perfectly laid so he can deal with it first time. He does deal with it first time. What a strike this is from Beckham, but what a save that is from Shea Given.
I'll give you another statistic, Andy. 21 goalkeepers used in the Premiership this weekend, and only 8 of them English. Oh, and Given playing a very risky hand there against the quickness of Cole.
Dwight York poached a couple of goals here at Old Trafford last season. The goalkeeper's dwelling on the ball.
De Hoy.
Yeah, was it a Derby goalkeeper against Derby? Mark whom it might have been.
Stab. Jakes behind Scholes. Shearer. Marcelino. Newcastle digging deep. And they kept it at 1-0. We've had more than 10 minutes of the second half. Still in the picture at Old Trafford.
The movement for me, Newcastle's up the top end of the pitch hasn't been anywhere near as good as Manchester United's. They've been a little bit static, the front three. They've kind of played down straight lines. And you see the movement of Sheringham, Cole, even Giggs and Beckham, Martin, who join in and don't play down straight lines in either right or left. I think the front three of Newcastle have kind of played too many straight lines for me. Not enough rotation, not enough crossover runs to really mess about Manchester United's back four.
Cordone. Speed trying to get it out of his feet quickly, and Keane blocked. Sheringham couldn't pick out Cole. Sheringham and Manchester United have got 5 players forward here. Beckham, as you'd expect, one of those. A deflection on the cross by Hughes, that helped Newcastle out.
And Roy Keane was the other option. He had just backed up David Beckham. It was free if Beckham wanted just to pull it back 5 or 10 yards.
Lee. Here's Dyer. Another trick for that Neville. Scholes looking to help out. Dyer's kept going and done well. Stam only diverting it as far as Lee. Has to hit it early. Barthez has beaten it out, but it's still in play to Courtois. Back for Hughes. Reminder of Manchester United that their position is still not secure. Cordone. Shearer. It's looping, but not quite the right trajectory.
Oh, just an attempt from Rob Lee. Might be his last piece of action. I notice the substitute board's up, but as it comes down, he controls it very quickly. It's there to be safe for me. Barthez makes it look spectacular, but I would have been surprised had that beaten the French goalkeeper. Just looked like he was struggling just a touch, Martin. 5 minutes up to that shot.
So Norberto Solano, who arrived back in the early hours of Friday morning from South America. World Cup duty with the country that he captains, Peru. Cole just left a Calling card on Marcelino then, the Spaniard having a look at the Manchester United number 9, as if to say, what did you do that for? Sheringham. Solano's come out with some instructions in Spanish for Cordone.
I think he's actually trying to play wide left, whether Solano's going to play right of 4. Trying to get Cordone to play maybe left of 4.
Here is Cordone for Dyer. Solano moving to the right. Dyer spotted him. It's an incisive pass, but Solano's clip doesn't quite justify that same description.
That's awful, Mark. I have to say that is really poor. When you work like that, Dyer's played a beautiful little ball in behind Manchester United. He had good support centrally. Roberto Solano, I know he's just on, but he should have done better.
Strong running from Giggs. Beckham. Zabizas. Oh. It's Giggs. Almost a suicidal moment from the Greek defender. And Newcastle not off the hook yet, because Giggs towards Beckham, it won't quite reach him. Scramble first by Hughes and then by Speed. That was bordering on arrogance from Nikos Dabizas.
I think it's a staggering decision, I have to say. You're that close to your goalkeeper. You're dealing with a really awkward cross. Got away with it, only because he's got a pretty good goalkeeper. Good agility again from Shay Given.
Dyer. Link up with Solano again. Beckham having to defend. Newcastle trying to get extra numbers forward. Here's Cordone. He's got his cross in. Philip Neville covering the height of Carl Court. Hughes. Still almost half an hour to go. Ronnie Johnson goal before the halfway point in the first half didn't open the floodgates for Manchester United.
They just haven't been able to control the football in the way they did first half. And Dyer's made a difference, Mark. The substitution that Bobby Robson at half-time has made a difference.
Court. Dyer. Bartes quickly out. He's stretching the referee's patience then. About the 6 seconds rule.
Substitution for Manchester United, replacing Ronnie Johnson is number 22,
Ronnie Johnson is off. Try and get some news as to the reason behind that. Ronnie Warwick, a defender who had problems in Belgium the season before last and had a life ban to his name, which was just sorted out in the end by the authorities. And it seems to be in Sir Alex Ferguson's plans as a backup defender. And he's not a backup now, he's out there.
I think what maybe happened to Ronnie Johnson, remember Carl Court and him tangled Mark on the edge of the box a little earlier, and he seemed to kick the studs of Carl Court. And we all know how painful that can be. It might be just a little legacy from that challenge.
Change, one assumes, for injury made by Sir Alex Ferguson. Bobby Robson ringing the changes with his vast tactical experience. Trying to come up with a formula here that might just get Newcastle in probably something from a daunting first fixture. Cole. Giggs, there's no flag. Andy Cole.
Now Sheringham looks along the line and thinks, why not me? Lovely little interplay between Cole and Giggs in the edge of the box. The movement's just so good, so quick. It's a lovely weighted pass. He's not offside, but look at Sheringham. The arms go up, can you pick me out? He elects Cole. And the header was always going to be a struggle. Just a fraction too high for Cole. The ball in.
Speed.
Well, that must be a free kick, surely.
Let's get some news on the substitutions from Claire Tomlinson.
Well, Martin, Robley's problem is with his right calf. He's had an ice pack put straight on that. Ronnie Johnson is a groin problem.
There you have it. Shearer. A little change from Jaap Stam. It's a real surge from Stam. He has turned himself into a particularly popular figure. Still looking to score a goal at Old Trafford for Manchester United. Sheringham. Nothing left for Giggs. He's starting to go in that direction. Now Giggs himself. Combination of Barton and Solano. Working out the Welshman then. What a strange decision a couple of minutes ago from Dabizas.
Well, he was struggling with the header, wasn't he? He was tight, he was close to the goalkeeper. I just thought, just nick it out for a corner, just ease the pressure a bit. And he did ask a big question of his goalkeeper. He didn't let him down, fortunately.
20 minutes gone in the second half. We're still, as we were at half-time, in this contest between the two Uniteds. Manchester 1, Newcastle 0. Solano. Dyer. Well, it has come on, and as you were saying, Andy, influenced the play, but not quite that time.
But they have looked better since the change, Newcastle, Martin. They've looked better balanced. They've almost got the four across midfield, with Cordoni playing left, Roberto Solano playing on the right, but Gary Speed's really got a hold. He's the one now who Rob Lee off the pitch. You can't have Dyer and him going at the same time, because if United break up an attack when both central midfield players are gone, they might just put this game beyond Newcastle.
And he's on the move forward again, and Solano's one of those in the centre. This is Cordoni.
That was worth a hit. That was pretty good play.
Giggs wriggles away from Speed. Sheringham. Manchester United might just be feeling they need a second goal to make the point secure, and Cole looks for it. It bounced just in front of Given, which made it awkward.
It did, but didn't he do well? I'll tell you what, the bounce is the awkward thing, but his body was big. He knew it was going to bounce. Made sure he got body behind it.
Speed. Cordoni. Caught in the centre. Cordoni trying a trick on Gary Neville, who doesn't know too much about the Argentinian.
Oh, what a chance.
We'll go for most Premiership defenders.
Yeah, well, he did brilliantly to just trick Gary Neville, but what on earth didn't he deliver after he'd done that?
Oh, almost through from Hughes to Dyer. The flag would have gone up. Scholes interception. An attack, as I say, might be the best form of defence for Manchester United of this 1-0 lead. Keane and Sheringham to take it over. Scholes haven't recaptured the fluency of the first half. The champions. But maybe now with the Giggs for Cole. They have got. Andy Cole scores yet again for Manchester United against the club that sold him to Old Trafford. 2-0.
Well, just when they need it, just when they need to turn up the quality, turn up the class, they do it. I mean, this is a brilliant finish. But watch Giggs, he just holds his position, he doesn't run in there, has a little look, 2 touches in. Wow. Solano's not great at tracking people, Martin, but Cole absolutely leaves him with his pace. And such is the quality of the return pass that all Andy Cole has got to do is concentrate on striking the ball and finishing. And he did it quite beautifully.
Well, of course, the England #9 shirt is now up for grabs, with Alan Shearer having announced his international retirement. Andy Cole is certainly a challenger. The England setup are represented here today by Derek Fazakali, of Kevin Keegan's coaching staff. There he is, former Newcastle coach. He'll certainly be able to deliver his verdict on that, and Andy Cole should be well represented. Good header away by Woolworth. But
well, it's been a decent 45 minutes in respect of it being a contest, Mark. We weren't sure which way it was going to go. But just when they were looking for a goal, the comfort of it, well, Andy Cole produces it. And it was a wonderful finish. On he goes, then he goes tracking across. He's played it. Now he's off. Has Solano tracked him? Well, he's tried, but he didn't get close enough.
Well, this Cole came from Newcastle 5.5 years ago now, and he's already scored 9 goals against his old club. Giggs. And so often when they do score, Manchester United get an extra adrenaline rush that suggests more will be quickly on the way. Solano. Certainly the emphasis of this Newcastle side has changed the balance through midfield to a greater attacking option. Has its value going forward, but might just be difficult in this part of the pitch when those in black and white have got to defend. Keane. Cole has underhit it, given it away to Solano. So it's threaded through by Court for Shearer. By there to help him. And here's one for Court to maybe use his height against Barthez. The goalkeeper not easily. But did what was required.
Well, did enough. Maybe they've taken 2 attempts, but Callum Court's a pretty big lad to challenge in there.
In the Charity Shield, Andy, about Andy Cole liking to be called Andrew. It's not I understand, a statement to the media and the broadcasters. Andy will do, but if you want to ask for his autograph, you've got a better chance if you say, sign here, Andrew. Please, please. It's Gary Neville.
I was going to say you get a better chance to say please, yeah.
He was announced, incidentally, by the public address here when the teams were given to the crowd as Andrew Cole. Here's Philip Neville. Corner for Manchester United.
Just picking 1 or 2 holes now in Newcastle defence. Just looking down below. Solskjaer getting ready. Dwight York getting ready. What a couple of subs to bring on.
Philip Neville, Giggs. Beckham has come in from being the corner taker. Giggs. 1 or 2 alternatives then. Actually given again. Put the watch on that tomorrow night, Andy. Goals. Manchester United on the prowl again. Giggs. stretching of the play. And Gary Neville had a look, but Cole is concentrating on the ball himself. In the end, Gary Neville does find the ball dropping, where he can look to add to his 2 goals in 250 appearances for the club. Dwight York is about to make his 100th under the umbrella of Manchester United. Alongside Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Brian Lara particularly pleased to have just over 15 minutes of his old West Indian chum. Cole goes off, having scored at a critical moment in the match. And Teddy Sheringham departs as well. So it's straight swap, 2 strikers for 2 strikers. Solana. Dwight York, incidentally, now becomes the subject of our player cam for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404. Dyer. Solano. Solskjaer can defend this the right-hand side for United. Cordona. Under Dyer's foot, but Solano was there. Caught. And the York upfield for Manchester United. Should they look to break, he spins away from Marcelino. Giggs trying what was a pass and not a Beckham-esque shot.
Very much a pass. They were just a bit narrow, Newcastle, when they were attacking their marked edge of the box, and no one really breaking wide to give them any sort of width.
Of course, any calculations would change if Newcastle score in the time that remains, but if they don't, 1 more for Manchester United would put them second in the table after a game apiece for all the clubs. You might argue, what does that mean? But if you're a Charlton Athletic fan, it means a great deal.
Absolutely. Top,
I was going to say, they will also remember they were top and then relegated, weren't they, after maybe 3 games then. And they beat Southampton heavily at the start of their previous Premiership campaign.
I think they're on cruise control, Manchester United now, Martin. I think the players out there, they're so experienced, they know the job that's required. They've achieved that, I think, 2-0. I think they feel pretty confident that unless there's a major catastrophe in the match, that Sir Alex's side have started and will start with a home victory and 3 points. And if another one's going to come along while they're playing the football, fine, but I think they'll really be keen to keep a clean sheet here today. It's almost an acceptance out there in black and white shirts that, you know, so they came here with a plan, I'm sure. Bobby's plan, the 3 at the back, that was the way to start, keep them in the game. And after some poor defending from a corner, had to change it at half-time. For 25 minutes, it was a game. And had Newcastle scored then we might be looking at a different ending to this match. But Andy Cole's piece of brilliance, I think, has just put it beyond Newcastle.
Remember the shock when Kevin Keegan sold Andy Cole. 68 goals in 84 games for the St James's Park club.
Well, as Kevin said, he felt at the time Newcastle had to move on beyond Andy Cole.
have they done?
Well,
it's easy to be wise after the event, isn't it? As they were runners-up twice to Manchester United. And, very proud of finishing 11th last season after a truly dreadful start. Cordone. Robson, when he arrived, was told not only to keep the club up, that was the thing to do, but he got no money to spend. He got 50 or so pros, all of whom are surplus to requirements. Giggs certainly not surplus to requirements here. Solano caught. I'm sure it would have been offside if he'd gone all the way through. The captain had darted in behind Carl Court. Pre-season training isn't designed to make everybody absolutely 100% fit come the first day of the season. It's a gradual performance, and the stamina stakes. Therefore, you've got some tired footballers at this stage of the first match.
You're absolutely right. The first week of the season was like that when you play Saturday midweek and then the following weekend.
But
I'll tell you what, they won't have to the benefit the following one. They've had those 3 games, and people might grumble that it's too much too early, but once it's completed and you've played them, my goodness, it's money in the bank for these lads as regards to fitness and conditioning.
Next weekend, Manchester United are away to West Ham. Newcastle play Spurs. As I said in the first half, midweek fixtures, Newcastle at home to Derby. Manchester United in 48 hours, just over, away to Ipswich. Snap. Key.
Just keep going on, isn't it?
And Scholes. Giggs, delightful dummy. Solskjaer just rolling it to Philip Neville. Back to the Norwegian again. Scholes. Keane. Newcastle boot connects with the ball. Daddy's ass. Caught trying to keep his side in possession. Free kick taken quickly. Solskjaer. Given having to get everything behind it again.
Yeah, he just went down a touch early, she given there.
There was a slight deflection on the shot, but Solskjaer won't be settling just for possession. Nor will York.
No, they get an opportunity to get a goal. Those 2 boys will try and take it.
Round of second matches for the clubs does start tomorrow. Arsenal against Liverpool. You can see it with us. Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports Extra, starting at 7. York. Giggs. Took that point. York looked down at the linesman. There was no flag. It could have been onside. Barton did the defending. Well, the first weekend of the season can produce some strange results, and Newcastle would have come here hoping that they could be on the right end of one, but they'll be glad to have the fixture over with. They'll have to come back here for a league game for at least a year.
I suppose that's what Bobby can say. Right, lads, that's it, Don.
Well, getting towards 2 years since Manchester United were last beaten at home in the Premiership by Middlesbrough. This will be 29 games now. And form that's a bastion of the success of Sir Alex Ferguson and his players.
Yeah,
makes it very frustrating for opponents like Alan Shearer.
Only 8 points dropped at home, wasn't it, last season? 4 draws the whole season. That was quite an incredible run.
Key. Of course, the players at home now, supported by an even bigger band inside Old Trafford. The redevelopment of the stadium. Beckham. By Marcelino.
Flag up for offside, Mark, just as he played it in. Dwight York, I think, the guilty party.
Confirmation of this Premiership record, just under 67,500. Facilities to match the calibre of the footballers for Manchester United.
I think a little warning in the last 85 minutes that normal service has been resumed here at certainly the home at the Champions, and that they're going to be once again the team to beat. We wondered last week at Charity Shield, quite a subdued performance from them. They've used the game against Manchester City, Dennis Irwin's testimonial, to sharpen, and I think they've played pretty well today. Alex Ferguson will be absolutely delighted, I think, for the first half. They did some lovely stuff, Manchester United.
Giggs. Beckham on the burst through the middle. Solskjaer just drifting away from the defenders on the back post from Giggs' perspective. Scholes setting the sights. Newcastle were the third highest scorers in the Premiership last season. It's been very difficult for them to look threatening here today. Shearer. Now for Court. Once he checked back on his right side, it looks as though all avenues would start to get blocked up. Hughes. Court. Shearer for Buck. Take a touch and have a look. See what's on in the centre for the cross. Cordone.
Under that, Mark. He had the whole flight of the ball to look at, from right to left. Totally misjudged it.
At this stage, last season, certainly in the opening games, Newcastle weren't just getting beaten, they were just crumbling. They haven't done that here. They've had a good share of possession in the second half, when they might have been concerned at half-time. They really could be up against the very best of Manchester United. Solana. And the flag's up. It's wide anyway from Carl Court, but it wouldn't have counted.
Fabian Barthez out. Philip Neville knows, he's shouting at the full-back that he felt he should have closed Solano down a bit quicker. Look at the gap he's allowed there, but I tell you what, Court's not offside. Now, if the flag's gone up against Cordone behind him, yeah, that might be the case, because the ball was angled towards him. It'll make him feel a little bit happier, Carl Court. The flag was up, he missed it. He saw it, he said.
Court, who scored for Wimbledon against Manchester United last season at Selhurst Park. Giggs. The level of weariness rather typified by Beckham then. Cordone. Comes Solskjaer. Well, he's fresh. And York, as the flag goes up again.
Close
Sorry,
again.
Andy, what were you going to say?
I was just talking about Newcastle as we get to the end. I was just thinking about Bobby Robson, and I think that what Bobby's got, looking at today, he's got a little bit of tinkering to do with his system, possibly with the players that he's going to use. I think they're obviously a lot better prepared than they were this time last year. I just think they've got a little bit of messing about to do with who's going to play where and what system they're going to play.
Solana. two in the middle, but the ball was well behind them. They both made similar runs, Shearer and Court. The time for one last attack from Manchester United. I wasn't over concerned about it. In truth, need he be? Keane, on the occasion of his 300th league game, to be a winner here. And he survived Stephen Lodge, who sent him off twice in the past.
It's not been that kind of game in any shape or form, is it, Mark?
Not at all.
Really, nothing really physical to worry about for the referee to be concerned about. They've won very comfortably, Manchester United, I have to say.
I suppose Stephen Lodge's most contentious moment was the penalty that he didn't give in the first half. Ryan Giggs went down. It hasn't influenced the result. And we're into the last minute of the opening fixture for Manchester United and Newcastle United. Gordone. All that's needed from Stam. Davizas is caught by Solskjaer. Beckham. Solskjaer's dragged the speed back to mark him, but Beckham encouraged by the crowd to let rip. Referee looks at his watch. Really the last knockings now.
Just reading about Alex Ferguson saying that he felt David Beckham should be scoring more goals than today. He felt 15, 16 goals wasn't beyond him. I absolutely agree with Sir Alex on that.
2 goals for Manchester United today. The second one from Andy Cole came at a time when his old club Newcastle were sticking in, digging in and making it difficult for the champions, who had played flowingly in the first half. Ronnie Johnson on the left of the picture there. Here he is, the scorer of that opening goal, which will have irritated Bobby Robson and his coaching staff, coming as it did from a second corner in quick succession when Newcastle were found wanting. Jay Given made some fine saves, and Newcastle certainly not embarrassed here. A tall order for them, and Manchester United have done the job at their expense by 2 goals to 0.